Am I the a-hole for telling my soon-to-be sister-in-law the truth about my stepbrother? For context, I am soon to be 33, and they are not far behind in age. I come here believing I am in fact TA. My post history is questionable, but please know I am working on mental health. TLDR, Estelle opened up to me about her past and how things were going in her relationship. I told her about my stepbrother making advances. I will call her J and him N. They met prior to COVID. During the pandemic, N added me on Snapchat and started making advances to me. He went as far as sending explicit photos. I did not say much at the time. I did ask if he was on anything. He said he had always been into me since our parents got together, 9th grade for me. After that ended, he approached me a few times when I go visit. He'd come into the room I was staying and try convincing me. I'd remain silent. I have a history of CSA. I'm not sure how much my younger siblings knew, but it's all out now. This occurred a handful of times, and then it eventually stopped. He was also using drugs at the time, but I don't know if he was on anything during his pursuits, other than weed. We did not talk much before that happened or after. Fast forward, and he is getting married. When she would come around, I never talked to her much. I am the black sheep and have been treated as such, so I keep my distance. We eventually started talking more, and I was invited to her bachelorette. Only one of the sisters not asked to be in the wedding party. The trip went well, other than some obvious bullying. It was not Jay, she is very sweet. After, I called her to tell her how much fun I had, but also mentioned the bullying and the fact that I don't know how I felt about going to the wedding. I realize I'm being selfish here. I'd been in therapy, and a lot of the ways my family has treated me had been discussed, among my own actions. She agreed she'd noticed I'd been bullied and understood my position. I was also hurt from not being asked to be a bridesmaid and felt like I was being outcast like the rest of my family had. She then got to asking why that was and said she always wanted to talk to me more, but they spoke negatively. She thought I didn't like her. She's also quiet but more bubbly. I came out with recent examples of their treatment, being made to sleep on the floor on a trip because someone who had a bed wanted to use mine, not offering up theirs, and she listened. It ended up getting deeper into her sharing some of her family history and me sharing my traumatic past. We had similar stories. At one point, she was venting about N's lack of showing up, they just had a baby, or showing any emotions. He has always been that way. I gave him a car once, and he never even said thank you or acknowledged my existence. She got off the phone and called back shortly after, and had asked her why she's talking to me, and she'd asked why everyone treated me that way. He said that's just the way it is. She calls back and said she was so mad and she's so sorry she didn't know. Then went on again about him, how she's not excited for the wedding. I should add, they just had a baby. I told her it's up to her what to do next. Then I was compelled to tell her what had happened about 5 years ago. I had thought about it for years, why now, and told her as tactfully as I could. She asked if I was sure, and I said yes, I have receipts. She thanked me so much for telling her, especially since we had both had CSA history and his behavior was creepy, they have a daughter, etc. We continued to text, and eventually she went radio silent. Then I found out from my mom she had went to my youngest sister, teenager, to verify whether the CSA claims were true. She had no idea that her dad had done that to me. She goes to my mom, and all hell breaks loose. Naturally, the word spreads like wildfire after she'd promised to keep it between us. I'd said I understand whatever she has to do, and that she knows as well as I do that I'd be blacklisted from my family if this came out. Well, that's exactly what's happened. I was uninvited from the wedding, and no one will talk to me. One of my siblings says it wasn't that I did this, but the timing. A soon-to-be brother-in-law said I should have just let it go. I'm devastated because everyone's cut contact. It's not an understatement that I'll likely never see them again. It hurts also. I told my stepsister when it was happening, in hopes she'd talk to him and get him to stop. I'd told my mom too. No one listened, as has been a theme in my life. I sent a message to Jay letting her know I would not be around anymore, and I hope she enjoys being part of my family. I realize I am in a lot of this TA and also want y'all to know I've been hashing through my past, and I genuinely thought I was doing the right thing at the time. No excuses. Edit. Sorry if this is poorly written. For clarification, nothing ever happened with my stepbrother other than his continued advances when I said no or froze in his presence. The abuse mentioned was with my half-sister's dad and others before him. She didn't know her father was a P3D-O prior to all hell breaking loose. My siblings and now stepdad don't know details to my past. Everyone's just assumed I'm a bad seed. The ones in my family who knew the details still gave up when I didn't get better or get my life together. I've had every opportunity, and jumped on the bandwagon with everyone else. I have been difficult, and don't blame them entirely. I've only blamed myself all these years. The only ones who showed up were my now deceased grandparents, whose love I hold onto dearly and think about when I feel alone. Edit. The responses are bringing me to tears. I will continue to work on myself and try to be better. It won't be for anyone's acceptance anymore. Thank you all for your validation and support. It has been hard to come to terms with, but hearing it from people beyond my therapist has taken the rose-tinted lenses completely off. It has been hard to see myself as any more than what they thought of me, but this gives me hope that I can be someone else and have a brighter future.